Welcome to Lecture 2.7. We're going to discuss more applications, in other words, more word problems. So we do need to get some terminology down with the concepts that we're going to be using today. The first is consecutive integers. Consecutive integers are two numbers that are next to each other on the number line. For example, 2 and 3, or 9 and 10. 20 and 21. Those are right next to each other. They are consecutive integers. Consecutive odd integers are two odd numbers only separated by one even number on the number line. For example, 9, 11, 21, 23, 101, 103. Consecutive even integers are two even numbers only separated on the number line by one odd number. For example, 2, 4, 100, 102, 1000, 1002. So you can see it's only separated by one odd number. So when we're discussing two consecutive integers and you have a problem with two consecutive integers, we don't know what the first integer is. So we're going to call that x. And then the next consecutive integer would be x plus 1. Because again, we don't know where we're starting, but we do know the very next number is plus 1. For example, the sum of two consecutive integers is 15. So the sum of two consecutive integers, if I use x and x plus 1, then I say x plus 1 equals 15. I'm just going to solve the problem like I normally would, combine like terms, subtract 1 to each side, divide by 2, therefore x is 7. And my next consecutive integer would be x plus 1, which is 7 plus 1, which is 8. And you do want to kind of mentally check, does 7 plus 8 equal 15? Yes, it does. Consecutive odd integers. Consecutive odd integers, remember we want to skip a number. So the first number is x, and the second number is x plus 2. For example, the sum of two consecutive odd integers is 16. So again, I'm going to say x plus 2 equals 16. Combine like terms. Subtract 2 from each side, so 2x equals 14. Divide each side by 2, so x is 7, but the next consecutive odd integer would be x plus 2, so 7 plus 2 is 9. Two consecutive even integers, it looks exactly, or at least we start off exactly how we do for odd integers, x and x plus 2, but the question will dictate whether we end up with an even number or odd number. The sum of two consecutive even integers is 18. So again, x plus 2 equals 18. Combine like terms, subtract 2, and divide by 2, so our numbers are 8, and then you plug in the 8, so we can get our next consecutive even integer. So 8 plus 2 is 10. But it doesn't just work with just two consecutive integers or two consecutive odd or even integers. We can have 3, 4, 5. As long as you follow the same pattern, you'll be okay. So 3 consecutive integers would be x plus 1, x plus 2. So you can imagine if you have 4, it would be x plus 3. The next one, x plus 4. Next one, x plus 5. So you can figure out a whole string of consecutive integers by using x, x plus 1, x plus 2, x plus 3, and so forth. So the sum of 3 consecutive integers is 24. So x plus 1 plus x plus 2 equals 24. Combine like terms, subtract 3 from both sides, divide by 3. So our integers are 7, x plus 1 is 7 plus 1, which is 8, x plus 2 is 7 plus 2 is 9. So our integers are 7, 8, and 9. And of course, check your answer. 7 plus 8 plus 9 is indeed 24. All right, for example, the sum of two consecutive odd integers is 28. Find the two numbers. So let me make some room up here. I don't know exactly what my numbers are, so I'm going to give them consecutive odd integers. So I'm going to use x and x plus 2. And I do know their sum is 28. So x plus 2 equals 28. And the reason why I did the parentheses is just to say x is one number that I'm looking for, and x plus 2, that whole quantity, is that other number I'm looking for. I'm going to combine like terms. I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides. 2x equals 26. I'm going to divide by 2. Therefore, my x equals 13. But I'm not done yet. I still have to find my next consecutive odd integer. So x plus 2 is going to equal 13 plus 2. Therefore, my next odd integer is 15. So my solution is 13 and 15. And you do want to check. 13 plus 15 is indeed 28. The next topic I want to discuss is interest. Now, some of you may not have had any workings with interest. So here's what interest is. It's the amount of money that you're charged in the use of money, whether it's a loan where you're charged the money because you're borrowing the money, or if you give the money to the bank or in stocks for an investment, somebody else is borrowing that money, so they pay you interest. So interest is a small amount of money that a person is charged in the use of money. So here's a typical problem. Suppose you invest a certain amount of money in an account that earns 8% in annual interest. At the same time, you invest $2,000 more than that account that pays 9% interest. If the total amount of interest from both accounts at the end of the year is $690, how much did you invest in each account? So we do know everything we need to know here. The first is the amount that I invested at 8%. I'm going to call that x. X is at 8%. And I know that at 9% interest, I had $2,000 more than at 8%. So x plus 2,000 was invested at 9% interest. And I do know the total of each of those interests that I've earned is $690. So to figure this out, I'm going to change my percent over to decimal. So it's going to be 0.08x plus 0.09 times the quantity x plus 2,000 equals how much interest I made. So the 0.8x will give me the amount that I earned at 8%. The 0.9 times the quantity that I invested at 9% will give me the interest at 9%. So the only thing left I have is to equate it to what I've earned. I'm going to distribute the 0.9 across the x as well as the 2,000. So 0.9 times 2,000 is 180 equals 690. I'm going to combine like terms. So 0.08 plus 0.09x will give me 0.17x plus 180 equals 690. going to move the 180 from the left-hand side to the right-hand side. So 0.17x equals 510. Divide each side by 0.17. 0.17. And therefore x equals 3,000. So, did I answer the original question? Not quite. I still need to know what's in each account. I do know at 8% interest, I have $3,000. But at 9% interest, I have $5,000. So 3,000 plus 2,000 equals $5,000. Okay? So you do want to make sure that you go back, answer the question, said how much is invested in each account. I know that 3,000 is invested at 8% and 5,000 is invested at 9%. Let's change gears just slightly and discuss geometry, specifically labeling triangles. So there is a standard way of labeling triangles. I'm going to run through each of these steps that we have. So the first thing is each point of the triangle is called a vertex, and it's labeled with a capital letter. You can label it anything you want, but it should be labeled as a capital letter. And each side is with a small letter. Each side is labeled opposite of its vertex. For example, this vertex is labeled A. The opposite is labeled A, but it is a small letter, A. B, straight across opposite of it, is the side B. And C, directly across from C, is the side C. Each vertex of the triangle is the vertex of the angle. Therefore, the interior angle, and I'll just draw a little arrow to signify the angle there, is referred by the same name as the vertex, A, B, or C. So this is angle A, angle B, and angle C. The sum of the interior angles is 180 degrees. So A, capital A plus capital B plus capital C is 180. So using that information, here's a problem that we can solve. The angles of the triangle are such that one angle is twice the smallest angle, whereas the third angle is 3 times as large as the smallest angle. Find the measure of all 3 angles. So first you do want to kind of sketch out maybe a triangle so you can visualize what you're solving for. And we're solving for the 3 angles A, B, and C. So the first thing we know, all the angles for a triangle add to 180. We don't know what A is, and I'm just going to call that X. But I do know that B is twice of X. Remember, the angle is twice the smallest angle, and I'm just saying A is the smallest angle. And the third angle, angle C, is 3 times as large as the smallest angle. So now we have X, 2X, and 3X. Well, now I can just add them together. A plus B plus C is the same thing as X plus 2X plus 3X equals 180. Combine like terms, divide by the coefficient, so X is 30. Therefore, angle A is 30. Angle B is 2X, so angle B is 60. And angle C, is 3X. Therefore, angle C is 90. So you may want to look through that once again. You will get a couple of these problems. So that's the end of this lecture. So until next time, be seeing you.